days when the weight of existence feels unbearable, when the world appears indifferent to your suffering, and every step forward seems like wading through darkness. The mind whispers doubts, emotions rage like a storm, and the chains of despair tighten around the soul. But in these very moments, when all seems lost, there lies an ancient key, a key that has been passed down by the greatest minds in history, a key that unlocks unshakable fortitude, absolute self-mastery, and the ability to stand tall even in the face of life's most merciless trials. This key is Stoicism. It is the philosophy of warriors, kings, and survivors. It teaches us that our darkest days do not define us, our response to them does. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, faced plagues and betrayal, yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Seneca endured exile and political chaos, but still declared, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Epictetus, born a slave, achieved mental freedom and taught that circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself. Today, we will uncover 6 unbreakable Stoic principles, each one a torch to illuminate the darkness, a weapon to overcome despair, and a path toward inner enlightenment. If you embrace them, you will never be truly powerless again. Prepare to break free from the chains of destructive emotions. Prepare to reclaim your mind. Prepare to rise. Number 1, control what you can. Let go of the rest. There's a simple but brutal truth that shatters most men. You control almost nothing in this world. The people around you, the shifting tides of fortune, the chaos of life, none of it bends to your will. Yet, the greatest suffering comes not from what happens to us, but from our resistance to it. We curse fate, we fight the inevitable, we wish the world were different. But a Stoic does not waste energy on illusions. A Stoic focuses only on what is within his control and lets go of the rest. Epictetus, once a powerless slave, became one of the greatest philosophers in history. He lived by one unshakable principle: some things are up to us and some things are not. Your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, these belong to you. Everything else? No more yours than the winds that carve mountains. If you fight what you cannot change, you will suffer. If you surrender to what is beyond your reach, you will find peace. Imagine a man caught in a storm. He can curse the sky, demand the rain to stop, rage against the heavens. But what does this bring him? Nothing but wasted breath. A Stoic, however, wraps himself in a cloak, walks forward, and accepts the storm as it is. This is what we must learn. The world will not spare you from hardship. People will betray you, fortune will abandon you, fate will take what you love. But no force in existence can take your mind unless you surrender it. And that is the first step to enlightenment, to focus only on what you can control and make peace with the rest. Number 2, turn pain into power. Suffering is your teacher. Pain is not your enemy, it is your greatest instructor. The weak run from suffering, curse their misfortunes, and drown in self-pity. The strong, they do something entirely different. They take pain, forge it in fire, and turn it into power. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, ruled through war, disease, and betrayal. Every day, he faced new battles, both within and without. And yet, instead of breaking under the weight of suffering, he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What does this mean? It means that every hardship, every wound, every betrayal is fuel for your evolution. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can this make me stronger?" Imagine a man struck down by failure. His business collapses, his relationships crumble, his health falters. He has 2 choices: sink into despair or rise from the ashes. A Stoic chooses the latter. He does not waste time blaming fate. He studies his pain, sharpens his resolve, and emerges sharper than before. Every hardship is a test. Every scar is a lesson. Seneca, who lived under the shadow of a tyrant and eventually faced death with unshakable calm, once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." You do not grow in comfort, you grow in the fire. The modern world teaches you to avoid suffering, to seek endless pleasure and ease. But Stoicism teaches you this: if you never face pain, you will never become unbreakable. Your darkest days are not your downfall. They are the forge where your new self is born. Learn to embrace suffering, and it will cease to be suffering. It will become your greatest weapon. Number 3, master your emotions. Rule over yourself or be ruled. A man who is a slave to his emotions is a man without control. He rages when things go wrong. He crumbles when life tests him. He allows anger, fear, and sorrow to dictate his fate. But a Stoic? A Stoic masters his emotions before they master him. The world will provoke you. People will insult you. Events will not unfold as you wish. If you let emotions dictate your actions, you are nothing but a puppet, controlled by whatever pulls your strings. But if you learn to remain unmoved, to observe your emotions instead of being consumed by them, you will become untouchable. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. Despite ruling over the largest empire in history, he never allowed power or anger to corrupt his mind. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the secret. Control your response, and you control your reality. Consider a warrior in battle. If he lets fear consume him, he hesitates, he weakens, he dies. If he allows anger to blind him, he fights recklessly and falls. But if he remains calm, focused, and in control, he becomes unstoppable. This is the same for life. You will be tested. Will you break, or will you master yourself? Seneca warned against being ruled by destructive emotions. Anger, an acid that does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. If you let anger, sadness, or jealousy take hold of you, it will poison you from within. But if you learn to step back, to breathe, to separate yourself from these fleeting feelings, you will never be controlled by them again. This is not suppression, this is mastery. A true Stoic does not deny his emotions. He observes them, understands them, and chooses his actions despite them. This is the path to true power, to be the ruler of your own mind. Number 4. Embrace discomfort. Fortune favors the prepared. Modern society worships comfort. Soft beds, easy pleasures, quick escapes from pain. But comfort breeds weakness. It dulls the mind, weakens the body, and destroys the soul. A Stoic does not chase comfort. He embraces discomfort, knowing that only through hardship does he become unbreakable. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, deliberately lived like a pauper for days at a time, eating the simplest food and sleeping on the floor. He did this not out of necessity, but to train himself. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This is the essence of Stoicism, to prepare for suffering before it arrives, so that when it does, it cannot break you. Imagine a man who never trains, never challenges himself, never pushes his limits. When hardship comes, he collapses under its weight. Now imagine another man, one who deliberately seeks out discomfort, who hardens himself through discipline, who welcomes difficulty. When life strikes, he does not break. He is already prepared. This is why the Stoic wakes up early when he wishes to sleep, takes the cold shower when he craves warmth, endures hunger when he desires indulgence. Not because he enjoys suffering, but because he understands this truth. If you never test yourself, life will do it for you, and you will not be ready. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome whatever happens, and then you will make the best use of it." This is not just about physical hardship, it is about mental fortitude. If you train yourself to endure discomfort daily, nothing in life will catch you off guard. Weak men seek comfort and are destroyed by adversity. Strong men embrace discomfort and become indestructible. Number 5. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. Death is the great equalizer. No wealth, no power, no status can change this one truth. One day you will cease to exist. This thought terrifies most, so they ignore it, pretend it is far away. But a Stoic does not run from death. He faces it, embraces it, and uses it as fuel to live without fear. The ancient practice of memento mori, remember that you will die, was not meant to depress, but to awaken. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of mortality, writing, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is the key. When you remember that time is slipping away, you stop wasting it. Imagine standing before an hourglass, watching the grains of sand fall. That is your life. Each second that passes is gone forever. Will you spend it complaining, worrying, chasing meaningless pleasures? Or will you seize every moment with purpose? The choice is yours. Seneca warned, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." We delay our dreams, assuming we have time. We push aside the important things, our ambitions, our growth, our loved ones, thinking we can return to them later. But later is never promised. This is why the Stoic lives fully, without regret. He does not postpone action. He does not fear judgment. He does not waste time on trivialities. He understands that death is not the enemy, wasted life is. The world distracts you, keeps you sedated, makes you believe you have endless time, but you do not. The clock is ticking. And when your final moment comes, will you look back with pride or with regret? Live with urgency. Live with purpose. Live as if today were your last, because one day you will be right. Number 6, accept fate. Love your fate. Most people fight reality. They resist what is, wishing things had turned out differently. They curse their past, resent their hardships, and blame the world for their misfortunes. But a Stoic embraces fate, not just accepts it, but loves it. This is the practice of amor fati, love your fate. It means understanding that everything that happens, good or bad, is part of your path. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? A Stoic asks, how can I use this? Marcus Aurelius ruled during plagues, wars, and betrayal. Yet he did not resist his fate, he embraced it. He wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This is the mindset of a Stoic. Everything, pain, loss, failure, is fuel for growth. Imagine a man who loses everything. His business collapses, his relationships fail, his world crumbles. The weak man drowns in self-pity. The Stoic? He adapts. He sees misfortune not as destruction, but as transformation. Every hardship is a stepping stone to his evolution. Epictetus, who was born a slave, became one of the greatest teachers of resilience. He declared, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." This is not resignation, it is ultimate power. To accept everything as it comes, to love every twist of fate, to turn even tragedy into triumph. Fighting reality only leads to suffering. But when you embrace it, when you love your fate, you become untouchable. No event can break you because you have already decided it is not against you, it is for you. Stop resisting, start embracing. Love your fate and you will never suffer again. Life is not easy, it never was and it never will be. You will face pain, loss, betrayal, and hardship. But the question is not what happens to you, the question is how you respond. The weak break under the weight of suffering. The Stoic becomes stronger. You now hold the keys to enlightenment. Control what you can, let go of the rest. Turn pain into power. Master your emotions. Embrace discomfort. Remember, you will die. Love your fate. These are not just words, they are weapons. Weapons that can make you unshakable in a world that seeks to break you. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors in history, faced endless trials, yet he never gave in to despair. Instead, he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This is your power. Nothing outside of you can harm you, unless you let it. The world belongs to those who refuse to be defeated, to those who rise when they fall, endure when others quit, and remain unmoved by chaos. You were not born to be weak. You were not born to be a slave to emotions, to comfort, to fear. You were born to conquer yourself. So make a choice. Will you remain a prisoner of your own mind, or will you become the master of your fate? The path of Stoicism is not for the faint-hearted, but for those who walk it. There is nothing in this world that can break them. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.